very interestingly, in I guess late 1980s, there was this Australian cricketer called Greg Matthews. Okay, and he was an off spinner and all rounder, actually off spinning all rounder. And he took a catch, I guess, of Richard Hadley. And the catch that he took,
Yeah.
I mean, it was very visible that he actually uh, he touched the boundary rope. And but still, the umpires didn't see it at that point of time. They didn't have the luxury of television replays, so they couldn't see that catch, and they gave that they gave Hadley out. Now, Hadley being one of the greatest cricketers to have come out of New Zealand, it was not the best way to get out for him, and the New Zealand fans did not like it. And one of the New Zealand fans threw a toilet seat at Greg Matthews.
So first of all, thank you Amit for doing this podcast. मतलब मैं आपके podcast का बहुत बड़ा fan हूँ क्योंकि काफी एक यूनिक कॉन्सेप्ट लगता है फोटोज के बारे में बात करना, जब आजकल विजुअल पॉडकास्ट बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि 3-4 साल पहले अगर आप पॉडकास्ट वर्ड बोलो तो लोग ऑडियो से एसोसिएट करते थे सिर्फ, बट अब जैसे विजुअल पॉडकास्ट भी स्टार्ट हो गए, तो काफी अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट लगता है मुझे। तो अगर कोई देख रहा है जिसे नहीं पता है, तो रैंडम क्रिकेट फोटोज पॉडकास्ट वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट क्रिकेट पॉडकास्ट है, तो आप उसे जरूर फॉलो करें। सो आज के पॉडकास्ट के लिए 4 से 5 टॉपिक्स हैं मेरे दिमाग में, और सबसे पहला मैं बात करना चाहूंगा इंडिया के फैन कल्चर की। जैसा कि आईपीएल अभी खत्म हुआ है रिसेंटली, तो उसमें हम देखते हैं स्पेशली जो आज की इंटरनेट एरा है और ट्विटर की एरा है, उसमें बहुत ही जल्दी जैसे एक डिवाइड हो जाता है। इंडियन इंडियन टीम का जो फैन ग्रुप रहता है वो बहुत जल्दी डिवाइड हो जाता है, तो फिर वो वॉर स्टार्ट। उस पर आपका ओपिनियन क्या है कि ऐसा होना जरूरी है क्या कि एक ट्राइबल एक्सपीरियंस की तरह बना दिया है स्पोर्ट को?
I believe sports चीज ही ऐसी है जिसमें passion is very important. ठीक है, as much as you dislike this aspect of fandom, as in of course anyone who is a real lover of the sport would agree कि it is not right to put down someone to show someone as a better cricketer or a great cricketer. So वो fandom का एक aspect है जो कि अभी बहुत ज्यादा prevalent हो गया है because of social media. But at the same time, that is not all that is there to fandom. But again, it's a byproduct of fandom rahega, so there will be some sort of toxicity. And as I keep saying, yeah, as in even in if I go for cricket as an analogy, uh, you can't have 11 Rahul Dravids in the team, okay, because that would make it very, like, I won't use the word boring, but yes, it would sort of take away some color from the composition, and you can't have 11 Shoaib Akhtars in the same team. So that's why I mean, as I understand, fandom ऐसी चीज है कि it's too big, okay, and जो ये section है जिसके बारे में आजकल we are becoming more and more concerned because they are becoming more vocal and there is a lot of toxicity. But as much as I do not like that toxicity, as much as I do not advocate that toxicity, I also realize that a bit of a needle is important to keep people involved. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that they are more passionate fans of the game, or I'm not even trying to say that we are more passionate fans of the game just because we don't pull people down. But at the same time, both are equally important to the fan culture. Like, it is a marker of a popularity of a sport that there is a very vibrant fan culture. And if you look if you look at Europe, football is very popular there, right?
Yeah.
And there is hooliganism out there as well. So there are, of course, football is the most popular sport, lots of fans, but there is that element of hooliganism that people have been trying to tackle for ages, but it has not been tackled. And I would say जो अभी का हमारा social media का troll culture है, it is very similar to that hooliganism. It's just that यहाँ पे लोग आपस में नहीं लड़ते, यहाँ पे लोग online लड़ते हैं, so there is no physical damage done. But yeah, having said that, as I said कि toxicity है, बहुत बहुत ही condemnable है. We should not really encourage it. But again, it's a part of it's a part of fan culture. And I also feel that the more people are passionate about the sport, uh, the more they're going to engage. And it's a part of being a fan, that you grow from being naive to mature. I guess a lot of these people who are
हाँ
following IPL very passionately, बहुत young लोग हैं, who have possibly started watching cricket in the last 10 years. So, for us, as someone, a 27-year-old like me, uh, हम तो सिर्फ एक इंडियन टीम को सपोर्ट करते थे, right? But for these people, they grew up in a culture where it was city versus city, it was club versus club. So for them, it is quite fashionable to wear that pride on their sleeve. But at the same time, as I said, that they're young right now. As they engage in these very stupid, ridiculous fan wars, I have a certain amount of faith that they would develop as sports fans. And I guess for sports to remain relevant, that is very important. And yeah, so those are my two points that I would like to make, that as much as as much condemnable as it is, the current toxic fan culture that we see, it has its own place, okay? Because it stokes the fire. As fans, I believe these are people who at this point sound so naive and ridiculous with their opinions. The more they engage with the sport, they're going to learn more about it. They are going to respect more.
एग्जैक्टली जो एज एज वाली बात बोली वो सही है एक तरह से, क्योंकि हम लोग भी एक टाइम पे थे, कुछ टाइम पीरियड के लिए हम भी उस फेज में थे। तो अभी मेरी एज 20 ईयर से, तो मेरे आसपास मैं देखता हूँ कि ज्यादातर वैसे ही लोग हैं जो एक ही टीम को सपोर्ट करेंगे या फिर एक ही प्लेयर को सपोर्ट करेंगे। तो आई गेस 3-4 साल आगे जब वो बढ़ेंगे तो हो सकता है उनको भी ये रियलाइज हो कि जरूरी नहीं है कि, मतलब एक चीज होती है कि अपनी टीम को लाइक करना, उसमें कोई बुराई नहीं ऑब्वियसली, बट अभी जो मैं देखता हूँ कि अगर दूसरा भी अगर अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है तो उसकी तारीफ करने के लिए बहुत ऐसा एफर्ट लगता है, रेजिस्टेंस रहता है उनकी तरफ से।
तो वही बोल रहा हूँ कि फैन कल्चर में 1% ऑफ एक सेक्शन ऑफ फैंस हमेशा ऐसा रहेगा। आई मीन, व्हेन दीज पीपल ग्रो अप टू अंडरस्टैंड द गेम बेटर, देयर विल बी अनदर सेक्शन जो कि वो हु विल बी टेकिंग अप, they will be new to the entire fan culture, and they will be naive and stupid in their opinions, but it's a part of the entire process. You cannot expect everyone to be, say a Ramchandra Guha or Shashi Tharoor in their opinions,
Yeah.
not at the age of 15 or 20. It's But my thing is that if they are passionate so much about the game, they will engage with it more. And then if they are engaging with it more, they are going to learn more about it. So for me, it's not really, I mean, I would be happy if, and of course, you can't, not everyone is going to learn the same way. Probably some will remain stuck in this fan culture. But I have the hopes that, people, the more passionate they seem right now, the more they engage with the sport in the coming years, and the more they mature. So yeah, that's what I would like to say about the fan culture.
और इसी टाइम पे जो जैसे हमने आईपीएल में देखा, द इनिंग्स लाइक राहुल तिवाटिया ने जो इनिंग्स खेली थी, वो बहुत एक लर्निंग लेसन होता है। जो ट्रोल्स आपने देखा होगा ट्विटर पे, जैसे वो स्टार्टिंग पेज था उनकी इनिंग्स का, जिस तरह से उनको ट्रोल किया गया, उसके तुरंत बाद ही 10 मिनट बाद ही उन्होंने पूरा ओपिनियन चेंज कर दिया अपने बारे में। और एक इनिंग्स और थी प्रियम गर्ग की, आपको याद होगी, केन विलियमसन के साथ उनका जो रन आउट हो गया था, उसके बाद भी उनपे काफी हेट आने लगा था, फिर उन्होंने एक अच्छी इनिंग्स खेली। तो ये ऐसी इनिंग्स भी बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प करती है मेरे हिसाब से, मतलब कि किस तरह से लेवल कर देता है सब कुछ क्रिकेट एक तरह से एंड में।
बिल्कुल। और क्रिकेट ऐसे गेम है यार, और आजकल के टाइम पर बिकॉज देयर इज सो मच क्रिकेट, इतना सारा क्रिकेट खेला जा रहा है, सो ये ओपिनियंस बहुत ही जल्दी चेंज हो जाती है। ये ओपिनियंस लाइक आई गेस इससे पहले जो द एरा दैट वाज न्यू टू सोशल मीडिया, उस जमाने के जो क्रिकेटर्स और स्पोर्ट्समैन थे, उनको वो इफेक्ट करता भी होगा, the criticism and the vile that is spread on social media. But now they have gone, they have grown thicker skins. It's a matter of time that opinion changes. और अभी फायदा ये है कि आप इतना सारा क्रिकेट खेलते हैं और इतना सारा स्पोर्ट्स होता है, so you get the chance to redeem yourself very quickly. So yeah, I guess this will happen. Having said that, again, as I would reiterate that किसी को इंसल्ट करना, किसी को अब्यूज करना, वो किसी भी तरीके से it's not right. But I just, as I said, I hope that people learn in the coming times.
या इवन जो आपने इंसल्ट करने की बात की, तो एक थोड़ा अजीब सा मेरा ओपिनियन है कि अगर एक प्लेयर वन है जिसने डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट बहुत अच्छा खेला हुआ है, बहुत रन है उसके पास, बट उसने इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट नहीं खेला है, और वहीं पे प्लेयर टू है जिसने सेम चीज करी, डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट अच्छा खेला, बट इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट उसे चांस मिला 7-8 मैच को खेल पाया। तो कहीं ना कहीं सोशल मीडिया पे प्लेयर 1 की रिस्पेक्ट ज्यादा है प्लेयर 2 से।
I know the names that you are talking about, and वही है कि सोशल मीडिया पे everyone is a, everyone has an opinion, everyone is a loose cannon, they are not accountable for what they are saying, so everyone is entitled to their opinion. But अब as I said कि शायद इससे पहले जो generation of cricketers और sportsmen थे उनको वो चुभता होगा कि यार what is it that people are talking about us. But now that's, they have gone through the entire gamut of emotions ki har, like the player that you're talking about played 7-8 test matches for India and still gets trolled for his opinions. So I guess he has come to peace with it, I would believe by now, because it is something that has happened not once but on multiple occasions. So now he has also, I mean, he is just an example. But yeah, these people must have understood that this is the nature of social media, this is the nature of fan culture on social media. So yeah, it is, as I said, it is utterly condemnable. But people up there, they also realize कि ये ऐसे ही है. And so many of these they're faceless keyboard warriors. So it's not that they're really going to make an impact on the decision or the life choices of a person. So yeah, it's just you have to let it slide.
सो लाइक आपने अगर किसी मतलब क्रिकेटर्स के साथ आपने वर्क अगर किया हो तो क्रिकेटर्स का क्या ओपिनियन होता है नॉर्मली इन ट्रोल्स के बारे में कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एमएस धोनी इज एन एक्सेप्शन जो कि चेक ही नहीं करते हैं बिल्कुल, बट आई एम श्योर जो अभी यंग एज ग्रुप्स है वो तो चेक करते हैं। आई गेस काउंसलिंग तो उनकी करी भी जाती होगी थोड़ी बहुत, बट इन जनरल उनका क्या ओपिनियन रहता है?
वही है that they also realize that it is important to be on social media. देखो, the nature of interaction with the world outside the sporting bubble has changed. पहले होता था that they would give interviews to journalists, they would hold press conferences. Now MS Dhoni writes on Instagram that consider me as retired at 17 from 1729, and that is a statement. So for them, they realize that social media is important to, for a presence, it's very important. Of course, there are commercial reasons as well. But at the same time, they're also now smart enough to understand that what goes on social media is not really what, is your reality. Of course, everyone takes it differently. We have seen Jaidev Unadkat responding to some of the trolls, Ashok Dinda, and that the entire Dinda Academy thing. उन्होंने भी respond किया.
Then there is Jimmy Neesham.
Yeah, then there is diminution. So everyone reacts differently, but largely as I understand, the understanding, the thought process is that it's a lot of noise, cut the clutter, but yeah, be there because it is important to communicate. At least, I mean, even if there are, say, 50 trolls, there must be 50 fans also. So, and it is one way to develop fans, because the more you interact with people on social media, the more they get an insight into your life, you develop fans. So they also realize that this is important at this point, but they also are smart enough and to not let it stick.
या हाँ, सो वही मुझे मुझे लगता है कि ऐसा एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं कर सकते कि ये चीज कभी खत्म होगी। तो क्योंकि एक्चुअली 80 to 85% जनता ऐसी ही रहेगी जो कि ट्रोल करने ही आएगी। तो आई गेस प्लेयर्स भी उससे पीस बना चुके हैं।
बिल्कुल। और देखो यार, ये ट्रोल्स की बात जो हो रही है, एज इन नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, बट you go to any cricket stadium in the world, say you go to Australia, you go to England, there are always people heckling and booing the opposition players. So yes, if trolls, yeah, trolls are not limited to the social media sphere. Yeah, so इतने सालों से चलता रहा है. Now it is because it is making one area very toxic, which is social media. तो वो उस पे बात हो रही है. But yeah, there have always been people who have been really caustic with their comments, caustic with I mean, if you remember the Virat Kohli incident from 2011 when he visited Australia, he showed a middle finger to the Australian crowd. What was that a reaction to? That reaction was to the kind of abuse and heckling that he faced. So वो भी तो trolls ही है ना. So वही बोल रहा हूँ कि fan culture का ये part है. It's a part of fan culture that there will be a lot of people who will come up with the worst of things to say. But at the same time, as a professional cricketer, as a professional sportsman, it's very important for you to realize that this doesn't have any impact on the game you play.
Exactly. Like even I've heard Shikhar Dhawan talking about it. वो फैंस के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे थे, वो ब्रॉडकास्टिंग के बारे में बात कर रहे थे कि कमेंटेटर्स, कि जब हम खेल रहे होते हैं तब हमें कमेंटेटर्स की बात अच्छी नहीं लगती है, बट जब हम खुद कमेंटेटर बन जाते हैं हम रियलाइज करते हैं कि जब तक हम जैसे जो बुरा हो रहा है तो अगर हम वो बोलेंगे नहीं तो हमारी चीज बिकेगी नहीं। तो वो कहते हैं कि वो भी एक तरीका है कि इवन फैंस जो ट्रोल करते हैं वो भी एक अटेंशन सीकिंग एक तरह से मैकेनिज्म ही है कि हर किसी को चाहिए थोड़ा बहुत तो।
Yeah, it is, and not on social media. If
इन
a
जनरल
drunk guy, yeah, if a drunk guy on an Australian field or in an Australian stadium, वो crowd में खड़ा होकर he's abusing a player, so that's also attention seeking, right? So it is a
या
pattern, it is a part of human behavior जो कि fan culture में काफी deeply embedded है. और जहां तक बात रहती है commentators की, commentators, having, look, they are paid for a job, okay, and their job is to have opinions. And of course, any opinion that you have, it will not always stick with 100% of the followers. So it is just natural that some of that opinion will evoke debate, and that's fine.
डिबेट।
So yeah, again, players also understand that these people have a job to do. And as a commentator, throughout, say, 100 overs of a match, you have to say so many things, okay? So it's not an easy job to be a commentator, right? तो आप इतनी सारी चीजें बोलते हैं, उसमें से एक अगर might not be like very well thought of, and then it creates a whole social media controversy these days. So वो सब चीजें हैं जो as a world in general we are getting used to it. Abhi Harsha Bhogle, in the Rahul Tevatia match only, he got trolled a lot because he said that it might not have been the best decision.
इवन आकाश चोपड़ा लाइक ही सेड दैट रिटायर कर देना चाहिए बैट्समैन को बीच इनिंग्स में, वो ऑप्शन होना चाहिए।
Exactly, but that's just one of, say, 50,000 opinions that Harsha Bhogle or Akash Chopra would have. So अगर तुम्हें उसका बतंगड़ बनाना है, look, nobody is perfect, okay? We all have our follies. So yeah, it's just a thing. Some people enjoy that. Some people उनको मजा आता है तमाशा करने में. So that's part of it now. People have gotten used to it.
Yeah. So अब फैन कल्चर से थोड़ा हट के बात करते हैं, जो एक और चीज जो फैंस में अभी बहुत पॉपुलर हो रही है वो है स्प्लिट कैप्टेंसी। इंडियन क्रिकेटिंग कॉन्टेक्स्ट से बात कर रहा हूँ मैं। तो रिसेंटली जब अभी मुंबई इंडियंस ने ट्रॉफी फिर से 5वीं बार उठाई है, तो ये क्वेश्चंस वापस रेज होने लगे कि रोहित शर्मा को लिमिटेड ओवर्स कैप्टन होना चाहिए। मैं आपको ओपिनियन जानना चाहता हूँ कि हाउ इजी इट इज इन स्पेशली इन इंडियन क्रिकेट कि स्प्लिट कैप्टनसी हम चला सकें, क्योंकि धोनी के टाइम तो हमने देखा धोनी रिटायर हो गए थे टेस्ट क्रिकेट से, तब जाके विराट कोहली ने कैप्टनसी ली। बट क्या पॉसिबल है कि विराट और रोहित दोनों साथ साथ खेल रहे हैं और स्प्लिट कैप्टनसी इंडियन क्रिकेट में वर्क करे?
It completely depends on the personalities. When we talk about MS Dhoni, MS Dhoni was a personality who was looked up to by everyone in the team. Okay? And especially, we've heard Virat Kohli shower praise on that man. So Virat Kohli himself feels extremely indebted to MS Dhoni. So MS Dhoni went on to acquire that position in the team where, even when he was not the captain, Virat Kohli has always said that he'll always be my captain. So as I said, that it is not a one shoe fits all sort of a situation. ये personalities पे depend करता है. और जहां तक की बात आती है कि can we do it, have we historically been poor at keeping multiple captains? I really don't think that history has got a lot to do with it. Personalities है, but yeah, if you want, if you want to ask me whether Rohit Sharma, after leading Mumbai Indians for 5 trophies in IPL, should get a chance as as the captain of the Indian limited overs side, I would say something that Steve Waugh used to say when they would ask, have you made any changes to the 11? He always led a winning 11 on most occasions. So he would say, why fix something that is not broken? So I really don't think that Virat Kohli has done anything that needs, that deserves him being being removed from captaincy.
क्योंकि international cricket में India is doing well.
India has Virat Kohli is currently the most successful Test captain in the country. Won a series against Australia, big thing. In the ODIs, if you look past the World Cup debacle, and World Cup debacle, I would say it was just one bad hour for India. Okay, it's not a bad team. If you see how that team performed in the 4 years before the leading to the World Cup, you would realize that it was a very strong team and it was the team to beat in 2015 or 2019 World Cup. So you can't just say that he's not a good leader because he has not won us World Cup. So many people, Saurav Ganguly was called a great leader, but he did not win much, outside India in terms of
Exactly.
ODI trophies. But yeah, of course, he has his reasons to be called great. So that's what I'm saying, that Virat Kohli has led India admirably well across formats. And the last T20I series that India played, India won it 5-0 under Virat Kohli. So why change something? And I always say that when it comes to teams in any sports, a team is not a leader, a team is not one person, a team is a setup. Okay. And when you can't compare a Mumbai Indians setup to an Indian cricket team setup, the equations are very different here. I am completely not doubting Rohit Sharma's ability to lead a team. He has done it brilliantly well in the years as Mumbai Indians captain. But all that I'm saying is, would he fit as the captain of the setup in Team India? I'm not saying that he would not, but I'm saying that if Virat Kohli has, completely fit in that role, why change him? So, of course, we have given captaincy to Rohit Sharma in limited over formats, and he has done well there too. But मुझे जरूरत नहीं महसूस होती कुछ change करने की, और especially in the formats, not the shorter formats, not the longer formats. Virat Kohli remains the captain. If Virat, uh, gets injured, or if we know that there is a capable leader, sitting in the wings to take over. So that is important. But, just for the sake of it, just for the sake of fan wars to get into this debate, I really don't agree.
This is why I was very surprised जब गौतम गंभीर की तरफ से मैंने वो आर्गुमेंट सुना. आई एम श्योर आपने भी वो वीडियो देखा होगा जिसमें आकाश चोपड़ा और पार्थिव पटेल भी थे. सो उन्होंने कहा कि अगर प्लेयर्स का सिलेक्शन हो रहा है आईपीएल के थ्रू, तो इंडियन टीम तो इनफैक्ट कैप्टन का भी होना चाहिए. सो वो आर्गुमेंट थोड़ा सा वेग लगा मुझे, क्योंकि एक तो सबसे पहली बात, अगर कोई प्लेयर इंटरनेशनल अच्छा कर रहा है और उसका आईपीएल खराब भी जा रहा है, तो आई गेस इंटरनेशनल उसको कंटिन्यू करवाना चाहिए खेलने के लिए. इसलिए मैं अंबाती रायडू का जब वो हो गया था, उनको सिलेक्ट नहीं किया गया था, बड़ा सरप्राइज था मैं, क्योंकि उनका एक आईपीएल सीजन अच्छा नहीं गया, उसके बाद उनको हटा दिया गया था. सो आई गेस जो आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि रोहित शर्मा की कैप्टनसी खराब नहीं है, वही बात है कि विराट क्योंकि फ्रेंचाइज क्रिकेट में वो इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं, बस इसलिए वो डिबेट हो रही है कि इंक्लूड करना चाहिए उनको.
वही बोल रहा हूँ कि what if, I mean, again, RCB as a team has had its own issues, and I would not pin all the blame on Virat Kohli for RCB not having won a tournament in all these years. Yeah, I do agree that there have been areas where Virat has been found lacking, but at the same time, it's not completely on him. It's any sport, any team sport is not completely about the captain. As I keep saying, that it is a setup. And in this case, the RCB setup has always had its flaws. I do not know why. When Daniel Vittori was the coach, we saw a lot of Kiwi players playing, and who did not contribute much to the team's success. And this keeps on happening. It's a team that has not been able to get its best 11 for a long period of time. Over dependence on Virat AD. I mean, these are things that we have heard any number of times, right? So yeah, that's what I would say, that we cannot judge Virat Kohli, the captain, based on what he has done with RCB, because he has done incredibly well with an Indian team. And I mean, look at the growth of Indian fast bowlers, under him. Look at the growth of Ishant Sharma under him. So there is a lot that has happened under Virat Kohli's captaincy as India captain that deserves more attention than what he has done for RCB. So yeah, I mean, I would say that Rohit Sharma can do a great job if given a chance, but at the same time, why fix something when it is not broken? So that's my take on the entire debate.
हाँ, या एग्जैक्टली वही मेरा एक आर्गुमेंट ये भी है कि एक ही मैच में ऐसे 3 सिचुएशंस हो सकती हैं कि अलग अलग कैप्टेंसी स्टाइल्स वर्क करेंगे, क्योंकि एक ही मैच में अगर आप एक ऐसी सिचुएशन देख सकते हो जिसमें विराट कोहली का मे बी स्टाइल वर्क करे, किसी में रोहित शर्मा, किसी में MS धोनी। सो लाइक ऐसा तो है नहीं कि हम 3-4 कैप्टन, सॉरी मतलब जॉन ब्यूकैनन ने वो ट्राई किया था, बट बट ऐसा पॉसिबल नहीं।
He never tried it though. He just proposed it. So yeah, he never went on to try it. Very interestingly, just to give a context to it, I don't know if you know, but Rick Charlesworth was Indian hockey coach, and in the early 2000s, and Rick Charlesworth was also a cricketer for South Australia, or Western Australia. And Rick Charlesworth was the guy. He's an Australian guy. So Rick Charlesworth is someone who actually brought the entire concept of multiple captaincy theory, and he made it work in hockey. Okay. And it was actually Rick Charlesworth's influence on John Buchanan that he said that I want to try multiple captaincy in IPL. Of course, that never panned out because Brendan McCullum led Kolkata in all the matches in that season. But yeah, as you correctly said that, uh, as far, I mean, the captain does take the final decision, but the senior players always contribute to the thought process. So Rohit Sharma, if you remember this, the last time India visited Australia, Sean Marsh getting out to this wonderful slower ball Yorker by Jasprit Bumrah. That was Rohit Sharma telling him that last ball, try bowling your, yeah, ODI ball. It's. I mean, that's not a ball that you generally bowl at the test level. But he said last ball before lunch, try doing that, and that worked out. So that's what I'm saying. That as seniors, and I have always, I can't say it because I've never been in the dressing room, but from the camaraderie that's there in the on the field, it has never seen that it's just Virat Kohli passing orders to everyone. He does get people's opinions, and Rohit Sharma has been extremely vocal and someone who has been an integral part of the team. So I'm pretty sure that in the decisions that are finally taken, of course they're finally taken by one person, but they are made up of a lot of contributions from a lot of senior players, including Rohit Sharma.
या मोस्टली इट्स अ लीडरशिप ग्रुप, 4-5 प्लेयर का ग्रुप ही होता है हर
Of
टीम
course,
में आजकल यार।
before we move on, I just
Yeah.
got reminded of an incident. Uh, so yeah, we think of New Zealand as this picture perfect country with the best of the people. Very interestingly, in I guess late 1980s, there was this Australian cricketer called Greg Matthews. Okay, and he was an off spinner and all rounder, actually off spinning all rounder. And he took a catch, I guess, of Richard Hadley. And the catch that he took,
Yeah.
I mean, it was very visible that he actually uh, he touched the boundary row. And but still, the umpires didn't see it at that point of time. They didn't have the luxury of television replays, so they couldn't see that catch, and they gave that they gave Hadley out. Now, Hadley being one of the greatest cricketers to have come out of New Zealand, it was not the best way to get out for him, and the New Zealand fans did not like it. And one of the New Zealand fans threw a toilet seat at Greg Matthews. Okay. Now, yeah, now what would you call him? He's also a troll, right? This is happening in 1980s. He's
Yeah.
also a troll, but he's a troll who has access to the cricketer. Like he's sitting in the stadium, and he's
Yeah.
been able to do that. So abhi kya scene hai that abhi jo access to the cricketers hai, it through social media, wo sabke paas hai. Now you are not, you do not need money to to get a ticket in the stadium and then abuse the cricketer. You are getting to do it sitting in the comfort of your home and behind any stupid display picture. So going back to that point, that ट्रोल्स और जो फैन टॉक्सिक फैन कल्चर है वो हमेशा रहा है, हर स्पोर्ट का पार्ट रहा है. और as much as you hate it, it adds some color to it. But again, it needs to be balanced. There need to be fans who appreciate real good cricket, and the less we see of such behavior, the better.
सो लाइक हमने थोड़ी सी MS धोनी के बारे में बात करी थी कि कैप्टनसी उनका स्टाइल, तो एक पॉडकास्ट में मैंने सुना कि यू आर राइटिंग अ बुक अबाउट MS धोनी along with Mr. जॉय भट्टाचार्य. सो लाइक मतलब बहुत अलग पर्सन, लाइक इट्स द टफेस्ट टास्क आई थिंक उनके बारे में बुक लिखना क्योंकि उनके बारे में बहुत ही कम पता है लोगों को। भरत सुंदरेशन की मैंने बुक पढ़ी थी 1-2 साल पहले। उसमें उसमें भी ऐसा था कि 5-6 चीजें ही नहीं पता चली मेरे को उसमें से, क्योंकि बहुत ही कम वो शायद गिव आउट करते हैं अपनी लाइफ के बारे में। तो लाइक आपका कैसे चल रहा है प्रोसेस लिखने का?
it is difficult, and Bharat himself is a brilliant author, and he has done a
या
wonderful job with the book.
हाँ,
So it is incredibly difficult for me to put something that can add something to it.
स्पेशली उन्होंने उस टाइम पे लिखी थी जिस टाइम मूवी आई थी, तो वो बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट टास्क था एक अलग से।
Exactly. I mean, he even writes in the book that like the challenge was कि movie में इतना कुछ कह दिया है about a personality who doesn't speak a lot. So what can a book bring out? So yeah, I mean, even in the book that we are writing, it's not about bringing out very like little secrets of Dhoni, but it is about interpreting Dhoni. Interpreting his actions. I mean, Dhoni will never be a person who will speak a lot. So it is about interpreting a lot of that he did on the field, off the field. And yeah, now, I mean, now at the end of his career, we have better perspective to things. So yeah, that it is a difficult process indeed. And but I
या
think it's a very enriching experience also, because uh, dissect किया जा रहा है, अगर हम अगर किसी को dissect कर रहे हैं, और वो उतना he's a tough nut to crack, as one would say. So the challenge is great, but when you join the dots and come to a conclusion about something about him, then it really तो और मजा आता है कि यार ये this is so that it's worth the effort, it's worth everything.
या स्पेशली क्योंकि एम एस धोनी का भी आप देखो तो जो ओपिनियन है लोगों का उनके बारे में, बड़ा पोलर ऑपोजिट है। एकदम एक वर्शिप वाला एक जोन है, दूसरा एक है ये एरोगेंट है, ये है वो है। एरोगेंट मतलब मुझे तो हमेशा ये लगा है कि सेल्फ बिलीफ का एक उनका रहता है, सेल्फ बिलीफ वाला जोन रहता है। कंफ्यूज कर लेते हैं लोग एरोगेंस से, क्योंकि लास्ट 2-3 साल में उतने परफॉर्मेंसेस शायद अच्छी नहीं रही। तो और इवन इनफैक्ट आप जॉय के साथ लिख रहे हो, तो जॉय का हमेशा ओपिनियन जो मुझे लगता है वो काफी अलग फ्रेश ओपिनियन लगता है, कि एक जनरल डिप्लोमेटिक क्रिकेट ओपिनियन नहीं है। बड़ा ही अलग लगता है मेरे को जब भी मैं क्रिकेट बस पे उनके वीडियोस देखता हूँ।
Yeah, that's he's a wonderful outside the cricket community sort of voice,
या
who adds.
हिस्ट्री को भी लिंक करते हैं वो, या
Again, that's exactly what makes the challenge interesting, because Dhoni has, despite being the most successful captain in terms of trophies won, most successful captain in the world, he has had his own detractors, and the number has only gone up in the recent past. So that's the challenge. So yeah, it's interesting, but let's see how it pans out.
सो इसके बाद मैं थोड़ी सी क्विजिंग के बारे में बात करना चाहता हूँ, कि क्विजिंग आई नो कि आपकी लाइफ का बहुत बड़ा पार्ट है। तो रिसेंटली अभी लॉकडाउन में कुछ ऐसा करने को था नहीं, क्रिकेटिंग एक्शन कुछ मिल नहीं रहा था, तो मैं सर्च कर रहा था क्विजेस। आई डोंट नो निषाद पाई वैद्य सर को आप जानते हो या नहीं? तो
जी जी, I do.
हाँ हाँ, सो उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था, तो मैंने उसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया, क्रिक्विट करके उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था, क्रिकेट क्विजिंग करके। तो वो काफी मजा आया। बट एक चीज देखने को मिली, ऑनलाइन ऐसा कंपटीशन करके बहुत कम, मुझे एटलीस्ट नहीं पता है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि आपने ऑफलाइन तो आई एम श्योर बहुत सारे क्विजेस में पार्ट लिया होगा, जो भी दिल्ली के सर्कल में होती थी क्विजेस या।
Online, yeah, as far as quizzing is concerned, abhi, in fact, on my timeline also, during the IPL, I was doing a 5-question quiz every day for Asia called Asia Fifer. So it was an IPL quiz. So yeah, abhi, I mean, the entire world has gone from offline to online. So abhi,
Yeah.
quizzing, we are reaching there as far as quizzing is concerned. We are just figuring out how to go online with quizzing, because online quizzing is a little tricky.
One of it is India wants to know, I guess.
Yeah. अभी there are no exact avenues of quizzing, एक दो इधर उधर होते रहते हैं, and I try to keep keep quizzing on my timeline, on Twitter timeline, because that's something that I really enjoy. But yeah, as in you quizzing का मजा तभी है when you do it in a packed hall with real pressure. And again, I guess for me, the reason I have never been very enthusiastic about online quizzing is that I know for a fact that there are people who do Google and all answers. So it sort of spoils the, and even if there are not people Googling, you always have that, doubt in the back of your mind that there might be people who are doing that. So it's not a thoroughly enjoyable experience for me. And, as someone who's quizzed a fair amount, I would say that, and I after quizzing online, I realized that the actual joy of quizzing lies in discussing the answer with your partner, and then like थोड़ा उसमें झड़प होता है कि नहीं यार मुझे लगता है ये है, मुझे लगता है ये है, then I would give the answer, अगर वो गलत निकल गया तो वो मेरे पे. So the chemistry between two teammates during a quiz, for me that makes it enjoyable. For me, it's also, if there are five other teams sitting against you, so you are sort of poker face खेल रहे हो उनके साथ, you're trying to gauge who might know the answer. So all those elements are missing from online quizzing. So it's something that I'm not really enthusiastic about, and I'm really looking forward to quizzing to come back, back to offline. But yeah, I guess it helps a lot of people participate from different areas, which cannot happen offline. So yeah, I mean, I cannot tell you where all quizzes takes place, because again, it's a, yeah, Kabhi, Nishad does these quizzes. I was doing these quizzes. I guess India wants to know का भी एक cricket quiz था, if you remember.
Yeah.
Joy Bhattacharya ने करवाया था. So yeah, these are
Yeah.
quizzes that keep on sprouting up here and there, and it's nice.
इनफैक्ट क्रिकेट क्विजिंग में अभी रिसेंटली एक कॉमिक स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन अंगद सिंह रन्याल, उन्होंने भी स्टार्ट किया था वो अच्छा फॉर्मेट लगा था क्योंकि उसमें एक डिस्कशन हो सकता था क्योंकि एक टेबल फिल करनी थी, वो भी एक अच्छा फॉर्मेट लगा वो.
Angad is one hell of a cricket lover. I've been on his podcast for the the watch along that he used to do for IPL. So yeah, it's वो बहुत ही interesting होता है. But yeah, I mean, cricket quizzing जहाँ तक बात है, I guess it's थोड़ा सा limited area है, क्योंकि cricket is as compared to football, as compared to other sports, cricket, just 10 countries with not a lot of history, a century of history, right? So it's not very wide in its scope. So it is very challenging to come up with questions.
और हिस्ट्री की अगर आप बात करें तो लाइक ऐसा लाइक हिस्ट्री है ही नहीं या फिर उसके बारे में लिखा नहीं गया है उतना ज्यादा.
नहीं, हिस्ट्री तो है. आई मीन लुक, लाइक फ्रॉम द टाइम दैट 1877 से, yeah, so क्रिकेट चल रहा है. So there, it's not that हिस्ट्री कम है, it's just that एक तो the point is that हिस्ट्री जो है वो काफी कम कंट्रीज के लोगों ने लिखी है. like to the early cricket in from 1877 to 1950s 60s, हमें जो व्यू पॉइंट मिलता है, that comes from English authors, Australian authors at most. So वो दो व्यू पॉइंट्स बहुत ही ज्यादा डोमिनेंट है. उसके बाद से 70s onwards थोड़े Indian authors come into the picture and write about it. So there is a very strong history with its connection to a lot of other things, politics, the entire apartheid, isolation, जो South Africa spent so many years in isolation. So it has connection to a lot of things, cricket की history. But again, it has not been explored as well because it is limited to a certain viewpoints. As I said, that because English and Australian people were the ones who were writing a lot about it. Lately, things have begun to change, of course, and now we have a good idea of the history of Indian cricket, the history of Pakistan cricket. So yeah, history hai, but abhi now it is coming to light in a better way.
So क्विजिंग में अगर कोई इंटरेस्ट है तो मैं तो यही कहूंगा कि जो स्पॉर्की पे कुछ क्विज अच्छी हैं वो देख सकते हैं, या फिर क्रिक इन्फो ने कुछ वीडियोस अच्छे डाल रखे हैं क्रिक आईक्यू पे, अगर आपको टेस्ट करना है तो आप साथ में लेके बैठ जाओ, वही एक तरीका है. अभी ऐसा बहुत बड़ा ऑप्शन तो नहीं है.
No, I think no, not. I mean, I would disagree with that because I mean, I did all my quizzing before Crick IQ came or before Sparkly came. But so yeah, it is all about reading it. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it is as much as you read the game, and it is true for all kind of quizzing that you would not always know the exact answer, but what matters is that you have an approximate knowledge of things. Okay, so you can make an educated guess based on all that you know.
Exactly.
All right, and that is why as for me, and as I said, that it is applicable to all kind of quizzing. Say you get to know trivia, okay, as in um, in which country did South Africa, Pakistan, Sri Lanka play for a tri-series in 2001? It was an African country. So the answer is Morocco. But why Morocco? What led to the entire process? So the thing is that if you get to know that trivia, it is quite possible that in the next 10 days it slips out of your mind. But if you know the entire story, it is very possible that on 9 out of 10 occasions you would know the trivia as well. So yeah, I mean that's why I said that Crick IQ and all those cricket quizzes are great, great way to test yourself. But if you really want to know about the game, read it as widely as possible, and know it not through trivia, know it through stories, because stories are what will remain with you. Trivia and factoids and facts, they sort of slip out. They are good for party quizzing and all, but वो slip out हो जाते हैं, and ये हर तरह के quizzing के लिए है, मैंने मतलब from my own personal experience.
या क्विजिंग के लिए भी इनफैक्ट मैं जब इंस्टाग्राम पेज पे अपने स्टार्ट किया था, सो ट्रिवियाज अगर मैं ढूंढने जाता था तो फिर ऐसे तो मिलता नहीं था. अगर मैं स्टोरीज में इंटरेस्ट, जैसे लॉन्ग फॉर्म कंटेंट पॉडकास्ट में कंज्यूम कर रहा हूँ, बड़े बड़े आर्टिकल्स पढ़ रहा हूँ, तो ज्यादा चांसेस होते थे कि मैं उसमें से खुद ही एक ट्रिविया निकाल लूँ, फिर उसके बारे में सर्च करूँ. तो वो ज्यादा अच्छा प्रोसेस लगा मुझे.
Yeah, and that's I would say I don't about the random cricket photos that make me happy page on Facebook that has by God's grace gained a lot of love and admiration from people. So initially what I was doing was like, as a quizzer, as someone who's been quizzing for 8 years, I always had these little anecdotes. Okay, but what I would do was that I would save it to make a quiz question out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, and we quizzers are very selfish. We do not share our trivia with a lot of people. So I would just keep them ki हाँ अगला quiz banana padega, so I'll use this. But then I realized that it's not worth it. I mean, the amount of a story is something that a lot of people enjoy, and a one-line trivia is not a story. Okay, it might completely wow you ki yaar wow aisa bhi hua tha, but it is not a story. If you tell the entire background of a thing, if you put things in context, if you put that little anecdote in context, then that's how people would remember that thing. So yeah, that's what like I was also the trivia sort of person, but then I realized that no, trivia is not something that people enjoy consuming as much as people enjoy consuming stories. So the idea is to tell them a lot of stories on the page, and through that I hope they remember a lot of that I'm trying to tell them.
सो स्टोरी टेलिंग की बात करते हैं तो जैसे कि हम देख रहे हैं कि पिछले 4 5 6 साल से हिंदी कंटेंट बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो रहा है क्रिकेट के स्पेस में. जैसे स्टार ने काफी अच्छा कैपिटलाइज किया है इस पे. स्टार स्पोर्ट्स हिंदी कंटेंट बहुत ज्यादा कंज्यूम होता है उसका. राइटिंग में जहां तक मैं देखता हूँ तो बहुत कम है अभी भी. इस पे क्या आप कहना चाहोगे कि हिंदी क्वालिटी आर्टिकल्स, न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल्स तो सेपरेट हो गए, बट ऑनलाइन हिंदी आर्टिकल्स बहुत कम में देखने को मिलता है कि वही रहता है कि एक इंग्लिश वेबसाइट है, वही थोड़ा बहुत लूज ट्रांसलेशन कर देती है उसका हिंदी में. सो उस पे क्या उसकी मार्केट मुझे लगता है बहुत ज्यादा होनी चाहिए इस टाइम पे.
I mean, again, it's dependent on like, as in Star has not only made forays in Hindi, but Star Kannada, Star Tamil. So Star ने हर regional language में अभी वो किया है, and it's a really admirable effort that they are doing. But yeah, you're correct in saying that अभी हिंदी की उतनी magazines नहीं आती, अभी हिंदी का उतना as far as Hindi cricket writing is concerned, we don't get a lot of it. बचपन में बहुत cricket सम्राट और cricket sahitya auric, there were a couple of these magazines that used to be there. So yeah, we read a lot of it, but ab shayad wo kam ho gaya hai, because possibly I think as I said that earlier it was understood that there can be only two major modes of communication in as far as country, as yeah, it was either Hindi or English. But now I guess people have given more space to other regional languages, so that has led to the shrinking of Hindi writing in cricket. But yeah, I mean, as you said, that there is a great market for it, and I hope someone comes up and fills that void.
इसलिए थोड़ा डिसअपॉइंटमेंट होता है कि क्रिकेट सम्राट जैसे कि आपने बात करी, वो रिसेंटली अभी लॉकडाउन में जून में आई गेस स्टॉप कर दिया उन्होंने पब्लिश करना अपनी मैगजीन्स. मैं अपनी बात करता हूँ। मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन ही क्रिकेट से क्रिकेट सम्राट के थ्रू हुआ था। मैं 5 साल का था, 2005 की बात है शायद। तो मैं 5 साल का था, तो हाँ, तो ट्रेन से मेरी ट्रैवलिंग बहुत ज्यादा होती थी क्योंकि मेरे पापा एक डिफरेंट सिटी में रहते थे। सो तो वो उन्होंने एक बार ला के दी, तो 5 साल के बच्चे को बहुत ज्यादा समझ नहीं आया, तो उस टाइम तो बस फोटोज का जो कैप्शन थे बस वो पढ़ लिए। और पोस्टर्स आते थे, आपको अगर याद हो, क्रिकेट सम्राट के हर एक एडिशन में पोस्टर क्वालिटी भी बहुत अच्छी होती थी उनके उन पोस्टर्स की। तो उससे इंट्रोडक्शन। और मैं कहूंगा कि जो स्टेटिस्ट उस टाइम, क्योंकि इंटरनेट उतना था नहीं, क्रिकेट फॉर आई गेस आई डोंट नो इफ यू नो लाइक कब स्टार्ट हुआ है।
93।
या बट फिर भी 2000s में आई गेस स्टिल क्रिकेट सम्राट ही एक मेरा सोर्स होता था जहाँ पे बहुत डिटेल में स्टेटिस्टिक्स मिलेंगे कि डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट स्पेशली रणजी ट्रॉफी के बारे में ऐसी कोई खास कवरेज थी नहीं उस टाइम। और फिर वो भी होता था कि मुझे ज्यादा प्लेयर्स के बारे में पता है, तो मैं अपने दोस्तों को बताऊंगा कि तुम्हें नहीं पता मिथुन मनास कौन है, तुझे तुम्हें नहीं पता योमेश कौन है। सो वो भी एक चीज होती थी कि तो सब मैं क्रिकेट सम्राट से ही पढ़ के मतलब बता देता दूसरा। तो और मुझे भी लगता है कि टीयर 2 और टीयर 3 सिटीज के लिए वो अभी भी वर्क कर सकता है अगर आप डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में उसको ले आओ।
Yeah, it's about keeping up with the times. I guess print anyway has suffered all
Yeah,
around the world. Not a lot of people are reading magazines and newspapers. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if someone comes up with something to cater to the Hindi market in a digital form as a mobile app, I think it can work wonderfully well. But yeah, it's like that. I mean, right now the market has been dominated by Cricinfo, Crickbuzz in terms of information about the game. So the kind of dominance that they have, it's difficult for something else to sort of capture the audience in a similar way. Cricket Next
yeah,
is there, cricket.com. So all of these are trying to create their own space. But for
yeah,
yeah, for I would personally like something like Cricket Samrat to be brought back. And again, same as you. I was going to, I don't know, this was India's tour to West Indies in 2002. uh, yeah, so right after that, I was on a train journey, and that's when I picked up my first Cricket Samrat. And I realized, अरे यार, ये तो इतना सारा है, मतलब
वही
उससे पहले रोज न्यूज़पेपर तो पढ़ते थे, बट न्यूज़पेपर में तुम्हारा सिर्फ एक पेज स्पोर्ट्स होता
एक
था जिसमें
पेज।
आधा पेज शायद क्रिकेट होगा. So then so much of cricket in one magazine, that was like, whoa, this is amazing. So yeah, I owe a lot of my love for cricket to Cricket Samrat too.
इनफैक्ट मैं अभी एक आर्टिकल भी पढ़ रहा था, उसमें जो उनके फाउंडर है आनंद दीवान, उन्होंने बोला है कि वो ट्राई करेंगे मतलब ऑनलाइन डिजिटली लाना, क्योंकि इनफैक्ट शायद एक क्रिकेट सम्राट का ऐप है। आई डोंट थिंक वो वर्क कितना करता है, आई गेस इट्स जस्ट फॉर सेलिंग द फिजिकल मैगजीन्स। बट अब देखना पड़ेगा कि अगर कोई ऐसे इस आइडिया के साथ आता है तो आई गेस वो भी पॉपुलर होगा जिस हिसाब से हिंदी कंटेंट अभी चल रहा
बिल्कुल
है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वेरी ट्रू.
सो दैट्स इट, थैंक यू फॉर डूइंग इट। और अगर आगे चल के चांस मिलता है तो एक और बार हम करते हैं फिर से।
Definitely, I will. Anytime you want me to be on the podcast, I would love to be. And good luck with this podcast of yours. Yeah, hope we have more episodes, a lot more episodes with a lot of famous personalities. All right. Good luck, Kshitij. Great talking to you. Bye.
सो दैट इज़ इट फॉर दिस वीडियो। यूट्यूब के अलावा मैं इंस्टाग्राम पे भी काफ़ी एक्टिव रहता हूँ। वहाँ पे मैं क्रिकेट से रिलेटेड कुछ फ़न फैक्ट्स और ट्रिविया पोस्ट करता रहता हूँ, और स्टोरीज़ पे भी पोल्स होती हैं, क्विज़ेस होती हैं। और यहाँ पे यूट्यूब के लिए भी आप मुझे मैसेज करके सजेशन दे सकते हो वीडियोस के लिए। सो इंस्टाग्राम पे आप @crickaddiction पे मुझे ज़रूर फॉलो करें। आई एम वेरी क्लोज टू 10,000 फॉलोअर्स, और 10K होने पर काफ़ी ज़्यादा बेनिफिट्स मिल जाएंगे मुझे। स्वाइप अप ऑप्शन में ईजिली दे सकता हूँ अपने यूट्यूब वीडियोज़ के लिए, तो वहाँ पे ज़रूर फॉलो करें। और अगर वीडियो यहाँ तक देख लिया है तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी कर लेना, थोड़ा सा आसानी हो जाती है, यूट्यूब रिकमेंड करने लगता है मेरे वीडियोस बाकी यूज़र्स को भी। तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करना और इस वीडियो को लाइक और शेयर कर देना। मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में। थैंक यू।